Have you ever really stopped to think about what's going on behind the kitchen doors at your favorite restaurant? Or what kind of journey your food takes before it even gets to the chef? Well, today we're going to peel back that curtain. We're looking at the invisible forces that decide not just if a restaurant makes it, but also if the food on your plate is safe. Let's get into it.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about a puzzle that we see all the time. There's this amazing restaurant, right? The food is incredible, it's always packed, and then boom, it suddenly shuts down. What on earth went wrong? Well, the answer usually isn't on the menu.
So really, why does this happen? We see the beautiful food, the happy diners, that great bustling vibe. But the real story, the one that's all about profit or loss, that's happening somewhere most of us never, ever see: the storeroom.
Yeah, the biggest killer here is what you could call an invisible leak. It's not some huge disaster that happens overnight. It's more like 1,000 tiny drips coming from bad stock management. We're talking about things like unplanned purchases, and especially what people in the biz call fire, which is just a term for product waste and spoilage. These are huge hidden costs that can absolutely bleed a restaurant dry.
And this quote from the management pros at Gastronom just says it all. The strength of your kitchen, your chefs, it means nothing if the back end, the warehouse, is out of control. Your profitability doesn't just get smaller, it literally melts away. And this sets off a total domino effect, right? So it starts with more waste. That means your cash is basically just rotting on a shelf instead of being put to work. Then you start running out of important ingredients. You can't even make your most popular dishes. To fix that, you have to make these emergency buys at much higher prices, which drives up your costs and just crushes your profit. It's a really vicious cycle.
But here's the thing. This whole problem of not having control, it doesn't just hit a restaurant's bank account. It can become a serious public health issue really fast. Because when control is lost, it's not just about the money anymore. Sometimes the food we're being sold isn't actually what we think it is, and that's when we enter the world of food fraud.
So, what are we actually talking about here? Well, according to Turkey's Ministry of Agriculture, food fraud basically comes in two flavors. On one side, you've got imitation, or taklit. That's when someone passes off a low-quality product as a premium one. Think selling cheap vegetable oil but calling it expensive olive oil. Then on the other side, you've got adulteration, or tashish, and that's when a foreign substance gets mixed in, like adding cheap glucose syrup to a jar of pure honey to bulk it up. Both are all about deception.
Thankfully, we're not totally on our own in this. Governments have teams right on the front lines. These are official food control officers, like the ones you see here during an inspection. Their whole job is to go into restaurants, warehouses, and factories to enforce safety standards and protect all of us. And their work doesn't just stop with a visual inspection, not at all. They take samples that go straight from the field to the lab. And in that lab, scientists are running all kinds of rigorous tests to make sure that what's on the label is actually what's inside the package, and that it's safe for us to eat.
Okay, so we have two huge risks on the table: businesses going bankrupt and real health threats to all of us. And both of them come from the same root problem: a lack of control. So what's the solution? Well, it's about replacing all that guesswork and chaos with clear, modern systems.
The experts over at Gastronom-Mühendis say you need a system that's built on 3 pillars. First up, transparency. Every single item that comes in or goes out is tracked digitally. Nothing just gets lost. Second, measurability. You use actual data, not just a gut feeling, to know exactly what you need and when you need it. And third, sustainability. This means the system runs the show, not one specific employee. So quality and control don't just walk out the door when someone quits.
And this way of thinking is absolutely crucial for food safety. Take the cold chain, keeping refrigerated and frozen stuff at exactly the right temperature. It is completely non-negotiable. In fact, regulations actually require businesses to have systems, like the ones from Retmon, that monitor temperature and humidity 24/7. And if anything goes wrong, they send out instant alerts. All right, so this is really where it all comes together. It doesn't matter if you're trying to make more money or keep the public safe. The key is to make the invisible visible. And the way you do that? It's all about the data.
This little phrase just captures the whole shift perfectly. The old way of running a food business was all about intuition, about guesswork. But the modern way, the successful and safe way, is driven by hard data. Every single decision, from what you buy to what you charge, is backed by real information. So what's the power of making all this data public? Just look at this number. Since 2012, the Turkish government has publicly named and shamed 5,125 different batches of fraudulent food products.
That kind of transparency creates a really powerful public watchdog. It holds companies accountable and pushes the whole industry to be safer.
So, in the end, when you bring together smart management, modern tech, and strong government oversight, you completely transform that restaurant warehouse. It goes from being a dark area, a black hole of waste and risk, and becomes a nerve center of measurable, predictable efficiency.
And this final thought really connects everything we've been talking about. The profit you hope to see on the plate is tied directly to how accurate the records are back in the warehouse. You control the back of the house, you secure the front of the house. It's really that simple and, well, that difficult.
Which really just leaves us with one last question to think about. The next time you sit down for a meal, just think for a second about that complex, hidden journey your food took to get to you. The systems, the checks, the data, all of it working behind the scenes to decide not just the cost of your meal, but its actual integrity. So what do you think is really on your plate?